All right, well, good morning. This has been a panel that keeps evolving and changing, more smart people getting at it. So we will just maybe just to give everyone a sense of the diversity here of backgrounds and experiences, we'll start, Romy, with you. Just give us a little bit about your role. Obviously, I don't think you have to explain who FIFA is, but it's always good to give context.
Well, not easy to explain what FIFA is, I guess that everybody knows more or less. Myself, I'm always working football. I started in Formula One, so I have to chat a little bit with David later about that. It's 40 years ago, so, but mainly my career is only football. And now I'm in charge of all the revenues for FIFA.
Got it. So the chief business officer role is kind of one that keeps evolving, right, in different parts of the market.
Yeah. It's wider than that because there are a lot of different angles. Obviously, the media rights are still the main parts of our business. By the way, for this cycle of events, we have an ambitious budget above 11 billion. So it's quite a large work to deploy. Then, obviously, the partnership that we have all around the world, a lot here in the US, then in Asia, then in Europe, then in the Middle East, and then all the rest, marketing, digital, and everything. So very engaging.
Yes, more to dig into. Matthew, you guys just had a great, accomplished season, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And that was, give us a quick snapshot of how you got here and what your role is.
Yeah, my journey has been a little different. I would say non-traditional to get to where I am today. First started out, spent 15 years as a partner in a CPA firm in Southern California. We specialize in high net worth individuals and their closely held companies. So my experience was essentially mergers, acquisitions, tax planning, consulting, etc., but across all different businesses. So with that, Mark Davis was a longtime client and family friend, and worked on his personal account, things of that nature, and helped him out over the years. But as that was going on, I also, I think the term serial entrepreneur is appropriate. I had a tendency to continue to stay busy, which my wife hates, but always starting and growing an additional company. So started a CFO consulting firm, a digital marketing agency, a payroll company, and most recently a restaurant chain, a national brand that now has over 400 locations nationwide. So with all of that, Mark Davis saw my experience in both finance and operations, and when this opportunity to acquire the Las Vegas Aces, which we acquired about 3 years ago now in 2021, he said, we're going to look at this as a growth company. So we need somebody growth-oriented that's going to come in and build this brand and help catapult the WNBA. So he brought me on at that point to take on both the financial and operational duties.
Fantastic. We have a true builder over here. Give us your background. We'll definitely dive into your firm and what you're doing.
Hey everyone, my name is Anthony Pisano. I'm the CEO and founder of Game Over Media and Marketing Agency. We specialize in the intersection of music, gaming, and technology. I come from the music business originally. I was a DJ and producer signed to Ultra and Sony Music. Toured the world for about 15 years, and in 2018 I partnered with FaZe Blaze, who was one of the founding members of FaZe Clan. At the time, he was really interested in doing music, so I noticed how engaged his audience was. In 2017, it was very clear that the gaming audience was extremely engaged in these creators' content, especially on YouTube at the time. And we started to test out putting out music on his platform, and did about 90 million streams on one release from his YouTube channel alone. There was no additional marketing. So when that happened, it was very clear how powerful the intersection of music and gaming was going to become. That's when my life changed, and I started to take away time from DJing and putting it into into my company called Game Over. And fast forward to today, we are the first phone call that the music industry makes when they want to get into the gaming space. So we create different experiences and environments within the gaming community and partner with a ton of different brands, music artists, record labels, and it's been a really exciting time within the space over the last 4 years.
It really has. A lot of the use of the word intersection this morning. Let's take a sip of coffee every time we say it. So let's get into a little bit about how technology planning starts to happen. So I guess, Romy, we'll start with you because there's a lot to consider when producing.
Well, technology clearly in the modern time is more and more embedded in our daily activity. Just if you think the last innovation we introduced during the last World Cup in Qatar is the connected ball. That allow us to work around the concept of the semi-automatic offside that we are now evolving and working to have here in the US for 26 with Canada and Mexico, and full automatic offside. So this is just an example, but to develop a fully connected ball, it took more than 3 years of testing, understanding how the ball can really be connected without impacting in any way on the game, and we succeed on that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you specifically about the connected ball, because I did a summit in Spain 2 months ago with the scientists at Adidas who worked on that.
Yeah,
they were telling us about how long that process was.
It's funny because just before the game, if you go close to the referee lockers, you see the ball charging like a phone. There is a set of balls on charge to be ready for the match. It is quite an unusual picture of the game. But this is just an example because technology can only be part of the sport, generally speaking. All our daily life is fully surrounded by technology. And sport, because we as FIFA, we want to continue to set new standards from the industry, we should continue to innovate at every level. From the TV production that we take care directly, we continue to evolve. We tested many new ideas during the last World Cup. We offered the experience to some Chinese audience to live inside a Web3 environment, experiencing the game in a new way and chatting and be part of the community, like to be in the stadium.
Right.
So this is an example. Then, if you go to the daily activity, a good example is our new streaming platform called FIFA Plus, like any other plus in the market, like Paramount, Disney, the same concept. But FIFA Plus is becoming more and more the home of football globally. The idea is to support all our 211 federations because FIFA is in this way bigger than the United Nations because we have under us, with us, 211 countries when United Nations I think is 197 or something. So we are bigger than that.
Prioritization.
Yeah. Because football is really part of the culture globally. Yes. Maybe in different levels, but also in India. Give an example because everybody thinks that India is fully dedicated and thinking all about cricket. But football is unbelievable in India. There is a tournament that's called Santosh Trophy that is played between the 32 countries that form the Indian Confederation. They play at the semi-pro, almost amateur level every year. You cannot imagine a stadium of 50, 60,000 fully, absolutely proudly and enthusiastic about the game. So we need to give support to our federation because FIFA ultimately is a non-profit organization. We are not looking for profit, we are looking for revenues clearly to support the activity of our federation. Almost 75% of the federation of the world cannot survive one day without the fund that we can provide to them. So offering them the possibility to be seen through a streaming platform all over the world is an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, media rights are a hot topic right now. WNBA, WSL recently announced a deal. As a finance leader, how do you see, I mean, and this is different globally too, right? There's this notion of direct-to-consumer, but direct-to-consumer doesn't solve distribution overnight. And the revenue model in the United States at least, from regional sports networks and TV rights, you can't just make that up for the teams with direct-to-consumer that is being run by the leagues themselves. So how do you kind of see media rights shaping up right now? It's a hard question because you're one of the teams, but probably a voice that they're counting on for leadership.
Yeah, it's interesting in the league that we play in. I mean, obviously, these are discussions and negotiations at the league level, but with ratings being at the highest they've been in the history of the WNBA, this is a hot button for us. And again, over the course of the last 2 years, the top 5 games, as far as ratings go, the Las Vegas Aces have participated in. So we definitely have a seat at the table, and we're pushing the needle. Unfortunately, these are conversations that we don't make the determination. However, I think at this point, streaming platforms, that changes the game for us. I mean, I think that us being able to, participate on NBA TV versus just the ESPN platforms, that expands this. Now you can have a mix and mesh, very similar to the deal that was just announced for women's soccer. And I think, again, these streaming platforms and, these new technologies that are out there, they allow for this mix and match opportunity, which should bring the revenue that the league's looking for.
Yeah, so it's not going to be an overnight fix, but the market continues to fragment. So the key is how do you use the fragmentation to your advantage? There's no simple answer, and media companies have to lay their own bridge right now too, right? Because they're a little bit levered, and revenues are falling, except for sports.
Yeah, I think really what it comes down to is roundtable discussions with multiple opportunities, as opposed to, I think our league in particular had gone down a path of a sole provider. But as we continue the growth that we have, this year, I'll give you an example. We signed a 3-year deal with ION. That's a national network here in the States. Unfortunately, that only houses Friday games for the WNBA. So I think what we need to do is really compartmentalize, and each one of these different opportunities, bring them to the table, and it's not going to be one streamlined. It's not going to be WNBA on ESPN as a sole provider. We're going to have to go across multiple networks.
Search volume goes up right now in sports, right? Every weekend, like, where is this thing again? Where is this happening? You kind of have to figure it out.
Yes, that is probably our biggest challenge right now. If you are a fan of the WNBA, our hardest challenge is constantly engaging with the fan base to provide information on where the broadcast will be.
So with gaming in the sense of the kind of gaming you're working in, it's a bigger industry than theatrical, right? Globally, probably by several times. Do you think gaming is still evolving? Has it kind of hit a sort of plateau? Or are things like the metaverse, Romy was just talking about that too, is that going to actually now be the next sort of real frontier for gaming?
Yeah, we saw a massive growth during the pandemic, obviously. And just like the music industry, gaming viewership changes every 6 months based on which game is popular at the moment. I think with Fortnite right now, you're seeing a new frontier of gaming in its infancy stages. UEFN is the new creative map ecosystem that has launched early this March. And they're really taking a similar approach to how YouTube works, where everyone's able to create these custom maps or custom games within Fortnite, which, in my opinion, is the future of the metaverse. And similar to how YouTube works on a monetary level, you're able to participate in someone's map and get paid for that as the creator of that map. So if there's 15,000 people playing the map and they're sitting in the map playing for 45 minutes, you're going to getting paid from that. And creators are starting to see six-figure checks, 7-figure checks per month.
Wow, it's like making an entire new generation of entrepreneurs, right, that are
Exactly. Yeah.
building maps. And attention is being monetized, and now a new form of creator. So that is really different than gaming in the traditional sense.
Yeah, I mean, as far as content creators in itself, they are limited to how popular the game is at that given time. So this is a new frontier for people to get very creative and build their own opportunities within an ecosystem that has a massive built-in user base already.
So in order for all of this kind of technology to make its way to fans and to consumers, I mean, there's got to be R&D cycles. How does FIFA do planning in this sense? And is it, let's keep experimenting with new technologies, figure out how we're going to commercialize and integrate it? Or does the business strategy really drive what technology needs to be developed? Because you have a lot of constituencies. You mentioned the federations, which you basically entirely support from revenues that FIFA generates. But then there's the experience of the game. There is, like you mentioned, the connected ball, how that affects play. How does R&D happen? Is it separate by department? Is it one group? And which drives the...
Oh, again, it's fully embedded in our daily activity. Our team is quite big, and we are trying to cover all needs from the market. When it comes to gaming, clearly it is one of the best tools to engage with new generation. When it comes to gaming, you need to separate from simulation game to non-simulation game. But just mention one of the most recent experience we had with Roblox. We are the most visible and most visited community in sport in Roblox with 21 million visitors. So we want to be part of that. We want to be, let's say, we try to be innovative as much as we can, even though we cannot take risks because, I told you, we need to grant to raise revenue for our federation. So it's difficult to be so hard innovator. Most probably we should be the best follower to be ready to catch the new experience like Web3, like any kind of new possibility rising to the market that allow us to engage at every level with all generation. This is what we have to do. We are absolutely focused day by day. We are a dedicated team. We have people that, we are more than 1,000 people, so we are spread all around the world. Try to don't lose the momentum in any field.
Yeah, it looks like there's one angle, which is what technologies are really matriculating in the market and becoming popular, and then you think about how does that fit within the FIFA goals, and then there is more of the top-down of we need to drive more fan engagement in these parts of the world. What are the ways in which we're going to do that? Hey, let's maybe create a new experience in China for things that are going to be more immersive.
Yeah, we are working around many projects because when the 26th World Cup will land in this continent to have for sure the biggest show on earth, because we are envisaging to break the last record in terms of total audience we had in Qatar. Qatar we had 5 billion in terms of total audience, when just a few months ago at the Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand we had 2 billion of total audience. It was absolutely amazing. But I tell you, arriving here, we will break all records because the momentum is here, the opportunity is here, so we need to be ready to catch the momentum at every level. Clearly, technology is the key part of that at every level. But it's right that we need the new technology to better engage with the new generation, but we don't have to lose what we have already. Right. So it's a compromise that you should find every day in your activity. Yes, you need to continue to engage, explore, test. We test everything. We are more open than probably who is outside us think about us. Many think about us as a conservative word. We are not. We are testing every day new opportunity, new ideas, and we are very welcoming to test everything because we need to be upfront for everything, but without losing what we already have, because 5 billion people around the world is quite a big number.
The biggest number in terms of an aggregate audience. So with that kind of scale, and I think everyone's involved in this, this is a brand innovators conference after all, so brand partnerships are a key part. Formula One has really obviously embraced that. You see it, I mean, from the second you land and get off the plane. How are brand partnerships and technology being considered? Obviously, different formats. You know, maybe we kind of started in the esports realm. We haven't talked about esports yet. We're talking about traditional gaming. But let's go around and talk about how you feel brand partnerships can be integrated into technology-driven experiences, and what does that mean, especially when it comes to younger and future audiences?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, we're working with, and this next season will be our launch, but we're working with a company out of Japan that has taken their technology that they have beta tested, rolled out in Japan, in Japanese baseball. We will be the first United States launch of this product, but it's a fan engagement technology using AI, where cameras are placed in particular sections of our arena, and these cameras will actually be focused on the fan, not on the game. I understand some of these things exist. There are some glasses floating around that I know this technology exists in other ways, but they're integrating AI to this experience where we will receive data on the fan experience. So how long is a fan in their seat? When do they get up? How frequently are they eating? Where is their attention drawn? And this data is going to be extremely important. I mean, first off, it's going to be just from a fan engagement standpoint. Is your fan engaged in the game itself? Is their attention drawn to your dance team, your other entertainment? When you bring in entertainers, are they watching at halftime? But from a partnership standpoint, we will know that the activations that are occurring in the arena, on the center hung, on the LED ribbon boards, are fans actually drawing their attention to these partnership activations? Well, with that, in the past, we've had to add, QR codes to measure, certain activations. With this technology, we'll no longer have to do that, be able to provide partnership opportunities with real data that support, if we do this, that results in this. Knowing that you are partnering with a brand and activating on the center hung, and understanding not only that the fan is turning to view that activation, but the duration of time that they are actually staying on that opportunity, that's going to be very important data to have.
Yeah, I mean, as your measurement provider, we've been tracking your exposure, right, in broadcast and streaming and on social.
Thank you.
And absolutely, we have been testing with different providers, such as you're mentioning, so that you can capture in-venue or in-race or on-site value, because that can get lost because the kind of exposure valuation that happens now is what's on camera, right? But some of the activations happening in the venues are not going to be always on camera. But if you have a way to see engagement from fans, that's a huge breakthrough, right? And that's going to really help the overall fan experience, but also be important to driving partnerships.
Yeah, and I mean, couple that with what you guys do at Relo Metrics. I mean, to be fair, we use your guys' data to support, our partnership elements as well all the time. I mean, that's part of the conversation. So the more data that we can look at, the more data-driven decisions that we can make, the better, both for the fan experience, but also on the partnership side. So, I mean, we use you guys and the data that we receive to track impressions across the broadcast and social, and we use that information to then make educated partnership offerings, and at that point we can substantiate the values in which we're going to market with, but at the same time, with this added data, we can actually show the data received on the partner side of things, that they're really getting true value for the partnership elements that they're employing.
With the global nature, right, of how many countries have their own broadcast feed for World Cup typically?
Well, I guess the last number is about 150.
So in theory, you could have 150 feeds and streams that have integrated brand partnerships for each country.
Yeah, absolutely right. We are now testing also for the next World Cup here to introduce a new concept of virtual advertising to be capable to personalize all feeds all around the world, offering to our partner to use the right brand, because all our brands are global brands. So maybe in certain cases they need to promote different brands in different territories. So we need to continue to use technology to help them to deliver what they need. For us, technology is a key part to help our brand to deliver the mission they have when they reach out to us at every level, from the gaming, because in Roblox we welcome many of those to be part of the FIFA world, or up to the broadcasting approach where technology is the key part.
Right, so it's now possible to make these kind of things happen. Obviously then orchestrating partnership development for 150 countries is no, you guys probably don't have enough people to do that well, but if there's enough technology to automate components of it for you, right? Dynamic creative optimization can format things for you.
Technology helps. I give you an example that we experienced during the World Cup last summer in Australia and New Zealand. We tested for the first time a remote system for the directors. So all the directors for all the matches were not physically at the match. They was all together in one single control room and make the direction of the game from there, all together. It was very good because they can experience by each other issues, try to avoid more issues in another pitch. So also their end, for example, all the social media team with the World Cup in Australia was based in London and working remotely from there. So here's another good example that technology helps to reduce the need in terms of people, using the best location for what you effectively need and deliver a higher level of quality.
Yes, that is just, it's astounding, right? You can do a lot more with less travel and less headcount. Not like you have to cut people, but you don't necessarily have to hire as many.
This was the main thing. But also to work where you can find the best people, the best technology without moving them from one place to the other. If the core of the technology sits somewhere, it's easier we go where the technology is and we can profit out of that.
Right. Music question, because I'm a long-time music fanatic too. It seems like with the effect that TikTok is having on sort of the young generation of engaged music fans, is it that attention spans are just shrinking and songs or mixes that take some time to develop are just not going to work anymore and everything's got to be boom, right in your face, 5 seconds, done?
A lot of the campaigns we run with the major record labels are around 15 to 30 seconds. So as far as the quality of music, you know, a hit record is always going to carry the song and the popularity.
Right.
But as far as you know, as far as content itself, it's definitely getting a lot shorter. Attention spans are getting a lot less. And the way that
cutting and editing to make sure it has social impact, maybe versus music impact.
Yeah, there's definitely a science to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just changed.
And music is very relevant for us as well.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
music is one of the key elements of the activation and the engaging of the fans. We are launching new original songs in every tournament with the local artists to perform. So it's really part of our key strategy.
Yeah,
music
soundtrack.
Music is fundamental.
The FIFA soundtracks are legendary.
And more, we have big surprises coming soon.
And one thing I wanted to add on as far as the brand side of technology and the gaming space, we've been able to use technology to scrape platforms like Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube on a live stream basis to essentially see chat mentions. So if I wanted to say, hey, McDonald's is showing up on 30 streamers' accounts, we're able to track that data and put together genuine and organic campaigns for brands to really target that audience. If we want to find FIFA creators that are playing Roblox, we're able to use technology and scrape these platforms to put together the best possible campaigns for our clients.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thanks all.
Thank you very much.